Saxon Algebra 1, Lesson 43. We study least common multiples and the least common multiples of algebraic expressions. If we are given the numbers 4, 5, and 8, and are asked to find the smallest number that is evenly divisible by each of the numbers, a reasonable guess might be the product, 160, because we know that each of the numbers will divide this. 160 divided by 4 is 40, 160 divided by 5 is 32, and 160 divided by 8 is 20. But 160 is not the smallest number that is evenly divisible by these three numbers. The smallest number happens to be 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10, 40 divided by 5 is 8, and 40 divided by 8 is 5. So you see each of these numbers goes into 40. We call the smallest number that can be divided evenly by each of a group of specified numbers the least common multiple, or LCM, of the specified numbers. Here's a procedure to find the LCM of some numbers. First, write each number as a product of prime factors. Then write down the number with the most factors, or at least one of the numbers. And finally, put in more factors as necessary, so the factors of each number occur as many times as they occur in the other numbers. Example 1. Find the least common multiple of 8, 15, and 500. We write 8 as a product of primes, that's 2 times 2 times 2. 15 is a product of primes, 3 times 5. And 500 takes a little work. We can divide by 2 several times. 500 is 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. Now, the number with the greatest number of factors is the 500. And so we start with those factors as part of our least common multiple. Then we look at the other numbers. 15 happens to have a 3 in it, which we haven't written here. So we must also multiply by 3. And 8 has 3 2's. We only have 2 2's in our least common multiple. So we need another 2. So the least common multiple consists of all the factors of each of the numbers, and the factors are repeated the most number of times so that each number has that many factors. If we multiply these numbers out, we get 40,500. That's our least common multiple. Example 2. Find the least common multiple of 30, 75, and 80. Well, we write each number as a product of primes. 30 is 2 times 3 times 5. 75 is 3 times 5 times 5, 3 times 25 there. And 80 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5, 16 times 5 there. Now the 80 has the greatest number of factors, so we will start with that for our least common multiple. Then we look at the 30. It happens to have a 3, which we don't have yet. So we must also multiply by 3. And we look at the 75. It has 2 5's. We only have 1 5 here, so we need another 5. So here's our least common multiple. And if we multiply these numbers out, we get 1200. Example 3. Find the least common multiple of 560, 588, and 1250. Well, it takes a little work, but we can write the prime factorization of these numbers. We keep dividing by 2 until we can't anymore. We divide by 3 and so forth. You remember how that works. 560 can be written as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 7. 588 is 2 times 2 times 3 times 7 times 7. And 1250 is 2 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. In this problem, 560 has the greatest number of factors. So we will start with that. And then we look at the other numbers. Let's see, the 588 has a 3, which we haven't written yet. So we multiply by 3. But it also has 2 7s, so we need another 7 multiplied by that 7. And then the 1250 happens to have 4 5s. We need 3 more 5s. So we multiply by 3 more 5s, and there's our least common multiple. We pull out the calculator, we multiply all these numbers, and we get 1,470,000. One use of least common multiples is to simplify addition of fractions with different denominators. For example, to add 1/4 plus 5/8 plus 7/12, we need a common denominator. The least common denominator is actually the least common multiple of those denominators, 4, 8, and 12. And that number is 24. 4, 8, and 12 all go into 24. So we rename each fraction. We must multiply 1/4 by 6/6 to get 24 in the denominator. We multiply 5/8 by 3/3 to get 24 in the denominator. And we multiply 7/12 by 2/2 to get 24 in the denominator. That gives us 6/24 plus 15/24 plus 14/24. Now we add the numerators. They add to 35. So the sum of those fractions is 35/24. We are going to use this principle in the next lesson to deal with algebraic fractions. So the least common multiple is a very important concept. It gives us the least common denominator when we have fractions to add. Now we consider least common multiples of algebraic expressions, and we will just look at some examples. Example 4. Find the least common multiple of 15a squared b and 10ab third. We start as we did before by writing the prime factorization of each of these quantities. 15a squared b in expanded form is 3 times 5 times a times b. And 10ab to the third is 2 times 5 times a times 3b's multiplied. Now, the 10ab to the third has the greatest number of factors. So we will start with that as part of our least common multiple. And then we look at the 15a squared b. It happens to have a 3, so we need to multiply by 3. And it also has 2 a's. We only have 1 a, so we need another a. So we multiply by 3 and a, and there's our least common multiple. We put the numbers together. 2 times 5 times 3 is 10 times 3, 30. A times a is a squared. B times b is b third. So our least common multiple is 30a squared b to the third. Example 5. This is our last example, don't worry. Find the least common multiple of 12x squared am squared and 14x third am to the fourth. Well, we start by writing the prime factorization and the expanded form. 12x squared am squared is written like this. 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. X squared is x times x. And we have a times m times m. And 14x third am fourth is 2 times 7 times 3x's multiplied times a times 4m's multiplied. The 14x third am fourth has the greatest number of factors. So we start with that, and then we look at the first term, the 12x squared am squared. What does it have that we don't have so far? Well, it has a 2 and a 3, so we need to multiply by 2 times 3. And if we count the x's, we have enough x's, we have enough a's, and we have enough m's. So we only need to multiply by 2 times 3 there. Now putting this together, the numbers 2 times 7 and 2 times 3, 14 times 6 multiply to 84. So we have 84 x to the third, a m to the fourth. This is the end of Lesson 43. Your assignment, problem set 43 on pages 174 and 175 of your book.